Hey, have to get that in there. My theme song for 2019. Yep, remain focused. So I wanted to talk to you guys about, give you guys some update on the Tax Cut and Job Act that affects your 2019 tax refund. I've been getting a lot of calls, so I wanted to make this video to get you guys updated. And I just got an email today that IRS is going to open on time, January 28th, as originally planned, and refunds will start going out after January 15th. So it'll be the normal delay, and that delay that they've already been having, holding up the earned income credit and the child tax credit. That law will be in effect for the next couple years, so it's going to be that way for a while. Okay, so and again, the refunds will start being released as of February 15th, and you can expect your refund in your account by the end of February, and that's what they're saying. So we're going to pray that that's the way that it really is. So let's go into what's new with the child tax credit. So eligible children for the child tax credit must have a valid social security number, and if they don't have a social security number, if they have an I-10 number, they could be qualified under credit for other dependents. Now, the credit, good part, the credit has increased. And what does this pop up on my notes? Let me get that off of there on my time. So the credit has increased to $2,000 per child, and $1,400 of that is eligible for refundable credit. And the age qualification remains the same, under age 17. Standard deductions are for single people, $12,000. For married, filing joint is $24,000. For head of household is $18,000. Okay. Now the exemptions that we used to get, we don't get those no more at all. So what that means is you lose $4,150 for each additional child. Okay. So, and what that means is that your taxable income is going to be higher. So now for low income taxpayers, the child tax credit should more than offset the exemption deduction, unless you have a lot of children, and then it doesn't affect like that. It doesn't offset, I mean. So in addition to nearly doubling the standard deduction, the Tax Cut and Job Act changed several itemized deductions that you could claim before on Schedule A. So what that means for many families who formerly itemized may now find it more beneficial to take the standard deduction instead. Okay, so you're going to check your 2017 itemized deductions. We'll do that. We'll check your 2017 and to make sure you understand what these changes mean to your tax situation for your 2018 tax return. So almost everyone who previously itemized before is affected by changes from the Tax Cut and Job Act. So the changes to both the standard deduction and itemized deduction could affect how much you need to have your employer withhold from your pay. Even if you continue to itemize your deductions, you should check your withholdings. Now for 2018, the current year, it's kind of late for that, but for the next year, you can be ready for 2019 taxes, okay? So alternatively, you can, if you take the standard deduction, you may not itemize. For married people, married filing separates, forgive me, like my nose is itchy. I've been having allergy issues all day. I'm surprised I'm not sneezing, but good. So if you're married filing separate, if one spouse itemized, the other spouse has to itemize as well. Okay, and that's why it's important that you consider what these changes mean for you and your family. So For 2018, the following changes have been made to itemized deductions that you can claim on Schedule A. So there's a limit on overall itemized limit. The limit that they had before, that limit is suspended, so there's no limit. So you may be able to deduct more of your total itemized deductions if your itemized deductions were limited in the past due to the amount of your adjusted gross income. You don't have to worry about that anymore, okay? So what this means is your itemized deductions are no longer limited if your adjusted gross income is over a certain amount. So deductions, okay? So the deduction for medical and dental expenses has been modified. You can deduct certain unreimbursed medical expenses that exceed 7.5%, whereas before it was 10%. So this means that if you itemize, you can deduct a part of your eligible medical and dental expenses that is more than 7.5% of your 2018 adjusted gross income, okay? And what's next for tax year 2019? If you plan to itemize for tax year 2019, your unreimbursed medical and dental expenses will have to exceed 10%. So that 7.5 is only good for this tax season, and next tax season is going to go back to 10%. All right. So deduction for state and local income, sales, and property taxes modified. Your total deduction for state and local sales and property taxes is limited to a combined total of $10,000, $5,000 if you're married, filing separate. And any state and local taxes you paid above this amount, it won't be deducted, okay? Miscellaneous deductions have been totally just aced. No more miscellaneous deductions. This includes employee business expenses that we were putting on the 2106. Now the 2106 was where you put your meal, your mileage, your transportation, your overnight expenses, and that's no more. That's no more. You don't get that anymore now. However, there are certain employees that can still get this. It's Armed Forces reservists, fee-basis state, local government officials, disabled employee with impairment, work-related expenses, okay, and qualified performing artists. So, okay, so no deduction is allowed for foreign real property taxes. So property taxes associated with carrying on a trade or business are fully deductible, okay? So that's property taxes associated with carrying on a trade or a business are fully deductible. What that means, you can deduct state and local income, sales, and property taxes, but only up to $10,000 and $5,000 if married, filing separate. Okay, I'm going to take some more of my tea. Okay, and home mortgage, you can no longer put your mortgage insurance premiums on your return. That's gone. Your deduction for mortgage interest is limited to interest you paid on a loan secured by your home or your second home only. The part that you use to buy, build, or substantially improve your main or second home. What that means is the interest paid on most home equity loans is not deductible unless the loan proceeds were used to buy, build, or substantially improve your main or second home. So, for example, interest on a home equity loan used to build an addition to an existing home is typically deductible, while interest on the same loan used to pay personal living expenses such as credit card debt is not, okay? So it has to be directly what you use for your home. So like before, you could deduct that, but not anymore. So the new dollar limit on qualified residence loan balance. So the day you took out your mortgage or home equity loan may also impact the amount of interest you can deduct. If your loan was originated or treated as originating on or before December 15, 2017, you may deduct interest on up to $1 million, okay? 500,000 if married, filing separate and qualifying debt, okay? So $1 million for everybody except married, filing separate is 500,000 in qualifying debt. So if your loan originated after that date, you may deduct interest on up to 750,000, 375,000 if you are married, filing separate. Okay. The limit applies to the combined amount of loans used to buy, build, or substantially improve the taxpayer's main or second home. Okay, so that limit applies to the combined amount of loans used to buy, build, or substantially improve your main or second home. Okay, all right. So I'm not going to examples. I put some examples, but for time's sake. Okay, so individual expired provisions with the greatest impact are tuition and fees deduction. A lot of people relied on that one. Exclusion of gain from income of foreclosed home mortgage debt. Treating mortgage insurance premiums as qualified mortgage interest. We already said that. And then legislation is still working on provisions related to hurricane or wildfires. Okay, so we'll know about that hopefully soon, and I can let you guys know. So the last thing is casualty losses. Okay, only losses in presidential declared disaster areas can be claimed on your return, okay? And you must include the FEMA disaster declaration number on your tax return, okay? So when you come, if you tell me you're declaring something in a disaster area, you have to have that number. So on the next video, I'm gonna have information on state changes, okay? Because the Tax Cut and Job Act also affect some of the states, and you know we have 50 different states, so for time's sake I can't really go into the states. What I'll tell you right now is that this year there are more change states. Okay, I can tell you the states with additional legislation, that means they're still working some things out, is Georgia, Kentucky, Vermont, Idaho, in Indiana, New Jersey, Connecticut, Kansas, Utah, New York, North Carolina, and Oregon. And then the states that are not conforming: Arizona, Arkansas, Minnesota, California, Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Arizona. Got Arizona twice. Okay, so some states that are partially conforming are Hawaii, DC, Illinois, Kansas, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, can't see Alabama, Virginia, and it's a couple others I can't see right now. And then some of the states that are fully conforming: Colorado, Oklahoma, Utah, South Carolina, and I'll get more into that on the next video, and I'll actually have all the states down and what the changes were to each state. So in the meantime, and I'll also talk about the alternative minimum tax on the next one, and let's see what else. And then we'll talk about business expenses. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to keep you informed, so keep checking back. All right, thank you. Got a pretty theme song.